So this is a quick follow-on task that I've figured out how to make it so you can also do this, both for those rounds that you're georeferencing yourself and previous rounds where I just haven't done this final process. The final process is lame and not worth detailing too much. It's basically just laundering some files to make them work in another software program. So like kind of changing the extension, but doing it in bulk. So for example, we've got our spreadsheet where you'll be doing your work. So for instance, 726 is the main day where you'll need to do a bunch of the manual georeferencing. But this thing I'm talking about now is this geoscript column. So it's just running, we call it a script, just doing batch processing. It's easy to do, so that the files get exported with a more pleasing file extension. So you can see that for 615, I've done this for round 2 and round 1 and round 2 already. So for an example, I'll show round 3 here where I have not yet done it. So you will just be, you can operate in the same project file that you'll always be in. And so this, I've made this for you and you'll get familiar with it. It's just called UMBC Thermal GeoRef. And so you'd go down to the geoprocessing tab, and the tool that you're going to use is just copy raster. So you search for it, hit enter, and then here's the new thing that I just learned about recently. You right click on that and you can run it in batch mode, meaning you can run the tool across any number of files. So I'm in the batch copy raster. You don't need to do anything here, just hit next. Here's where you need to find all the files. So they do not need to be in ARC. So you're just going to go to open, and you're simply going to go and find where you need to be for these particular files. And so you'll get used to this naming scheme. I'm already in the 2023 June 15th round 2 folder, but how would you find this? Well, in your folders here, this is your folder connections that I've added. Right now I have the main 2 campaigns that you'll work on, but for these other campaigns, you can also just go in through UMBC trees, campaigns, UMBC, so I'm looking for June 15th. XTR is the thermal stuff. Go in again, and now you look for your round. So we're looking at round 3 this time, and we're looking at the corrected files, XTR core. So they should all end with a core.tiff. They should not have a geo at the end yet. So that's just something to look for, and there should be, between 20 and 25 files in there roughly. So I'm just going to select all of them. It doesn't actually tell me how many files in there, but that's all right. Looks like a reasonable number. And now this will take a moment, perhaps, because these are going to have to be downloaded from OneDrive. So you could, in theory, just do this from a second window of, that wasn't that bad. Never mind. Okay, forget that. That was quick. So now we have all these files open and ready to be processed. And now we need to set the name. We need to set the output location and the name. So this, if you remember from GIS, this is the project geodatabase, that .gdb. That's where ARC likes to save by default. We do not want that. So we want to go in. I'm sorry, first of all, getting ahead of myself. We do want this little name thing with the percent signs in there. So I'm going to copy that. I'll tell you about that in a second. So I've copied that. Now I see, okay, where am I? I'm in round 2. I need to be in round 3. So I can just back out once. I make sure I confirm the date, June 15th. Round 3, XTR core. Okay, so this is the folder I want to be in. Now, how do we name these files? So what this thing does is it's just a variable. It just means that it's going to take the name of the input file, so all of these, and do something to it. If we just leave it like this, it'll be exactly the same, and it either won't work, it'll be a mess. So we're going to do name underscore geo.tiff. So this will take the existing name and add geo for geo-referenced and tiff. And that is it. You should be able to run this. Shouldn't take too long. Let's pause the video for a second. Okay, we're back. It completed and it threw all of the outputs into Arc, which is fine. You don't really need to do anything here. So I'm going to just turn off the stuff that's underneath it just to show you. I mean, these are just already geo-referenced files. If you happen to notice that something is like super crazy, great, but you don't need to do any real checking here. So you don't actually need them in here. I would just shift click all of them, right click and remove. And now you need to delete all the old ones from that same folder. So to get back here, again, I'm in June 15th, so that's good. I'm in round 2. I need to be in round 3. XTR core. And now I organized by date modified because it'll show me. So this is, I'm doing this right now, June or whatever this is, January 29th, 1:53 p.m. So I can simply scroll down until I see a clear break in the date time. So this goes back to October when the georeferencing was done. So I'm going to select the top one of those, go down to the bottom, shift click to select all of those, and delete. So, before you do a delete, you do want to kind of look in and just see, are there a bunch of files with geos? You don't need to count them or anything, but you just want to make sure it wasn't a complete failure and that something was created on right at the time you think you did that. So don't do the delete unless that's, generally confirmed. But also know that even if you delete files that shouldn't have been deleted, it's really not that hard to recreate them. So don't worry about it too much. So then you're good. So then you'd go back to the just the logging spreadsheet and just do yes and move on. That's it.